Welcome to Albuquerque UFO UAP Explorations. Today we have an extraordinary guest, Tom Paladino, a true pioneer in the field of scalar energy research. Tom's journey into this fascinating realm began during his undergraduate years when he was inspired by the groundbreaking work of Nikola Tesla. As Tom delved deeper into his studies, he was fortunate to study the research notes and operate the scalar light instruments developed by another expert, Galen Hieronymus. Scalar energy, also known by many other names such as chi, prana, mana, life force, or pyramid energy, is believed to originate from the sun and stars. It is the fundamental life force that permeates the universe, from the vast expanse of space to the core of our very own planet. This divine energy, distinct from electromagnetic energy, forms the backbone of all existence. Tom will illuminate the incredible potential of scalar energy. He will explain how it can be directed to heal individuals remotely using just their photographs, transcending geographical boundaries. Imagine a world where healing energy can be transmitted across continents, bringing well-being without the need for physical presence. We'll also explore how scalar energy could revolutionize the global energy crisis through unlimited clean energy. Tom's insights will reveal how this quantum energy, harnessed from the sun and stars, could be the key to alleviating human suffering and enhancing our overall well-being. So join us on this journey beyond the visible, tapping into the infinite potential of scalar energy with Tom Paladino. Hey, Tom, welcome. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Bertie, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
The pleasure is mine. I am so interested in your research. It looks incredible. Why don't you kind of walk us from the beginning? How did you even get interested in this?
At the inception, if you will, at the beginning of my learning experience, it was Tesla. Nikola Tesla gave me that inspiration. As a teenager, I was reading about Tesla, and I knew, I had this gift of abstraction. I knew that Tesla was able to harness this energy from the sun and the stars. No, nobody had to paint that picture for me. I knew that by reading his work. And I said to myself, this is incredible. If we can harness the stars, that will solve so many problems. That is the power supply that we want, not coal, not oil, not hydrogen, the stars. Well, that's been my life goal, to look at this energy and to present it to the world and to show the benefits of star energy, which I call scalar energy.
Okay, that's pretty fascinating. So how would you define scalar energy?
I believe it's divine. I believe it's from God. And the reason I say that, all the stars in the universe broadcast give off this scalar light. Well, how could that be, if you will, a universal energy without the direction of God? So I think we've tapped into the God force, the primal force of the universe, scalar energy. It's not electricity. Those are two distinct energies. I am saying that scalar energy is the prime mover of the universe.
Okay, this is really interesting, Tom. So how does scalar energy work? Can you describe it for us and how it moves, how it can affect us?
Okay. So let's go back to physics, and we look at light energy. What is light?
Right.
It's fundamental. It's so simple. It's so obvious. We overlook that. All energy, all light is fundamental. What does nature start with? Light. A chemical process, a physical process is at the very bottom. That's the effect. So let's go back to the cause, which is intelligence, light. Now, where does light come from? Look at the universe. That's the answer. The stars. Where does the intelligence come from? The light. So all instructions, all light stems from the stars. What is that? It's scalar light, scalar energy. Why is that important? Let's look at the universe at the level of cause, not at the level of effect. If we can control the cause, scalar energy, we can control the outcome.
Okay, so how does scalar energy differ from, say, plasma or electricity?
Scalar energy is plasma. That's a good point. Other terms for scalar energy are plasma, 0-point energy, chi, prana. Some people call it 0-point energy. So all of those terms are synonymous with scalar. It's the initial energy of the universe. I'm going to show the audience a photograph of a scalar wave. That's a Tesla coil, and this is by way of time-lapse photography, a double helix. That's a scalar wave.
That's amazing. It almost looks like our DNA molecule.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I believe it's the cause of DNA. I believe it's the life force that gives us DNA. You could see the congruence here. You can see both are a double helix. So this is a scalar wave from the stars that produces, that creates and maintains our DNA. Now, what's the point? We are the intelligence of scalar energy. Scalar energy downloads into our genomic form, creates our genomic form, and that is the cause of life.
That's incredible.
Thank you. We are created and maintained by light, L-I-G-H-T. Scalar light creates the double helix, the DNA, and maintains it. What gives rise to complicated genomic forms? It's scalar energy.
That is remarkable. I cannot get over just the congruence there between the light in that photograph, the scalar energy in that photograph, in our own DNA molecules. And, you know, those of us who are interested in consciousness studies, we all kind of talk about how we're light beings at heart, right? You know, that we're able to extend our consciousness beyond our bodies and have experiences that are more deep and more profound than just a simple brain in a skull could possibly give you. And this is really interesting to me in that light.
Yeah, thank you for seeing that. That's the very quiddity of my work. I am working at the level of cause. I'm working at a first principle level. And when you can work with primal energy, essentially you can do anything. So scalar energy is the doorway to controlling nature.
So how do you use scalar energy when you're working with someone? I see that you can use a photograph of someone to diagnose and heal. How does that work?
That's correct. So I've developed scalar energy instruments that can access a photograph, which is a scalar energy force field. I'm going to hold up my photograph. I printed this photograph out on a piece of paper, but the energy attached to that photograph is a scalar signature. It's my signature. If this is the biological Tom, this is the energetic Tom. Okay? And I can access my force field through a photograph. And I actually take a photograph and I place it in the instrument. My photograph now is in a scalar energy environment. I am experiencing a scalar energy environment. I actually can feel that energy. And this, again, is not electricity. This is the energy of the stars. This instrument is sending instructions into my force field. It's not a chemical process. We just work from force field to force field.
Wow. That's amazing. I know that, Kirlian photography, for example, can take photographs of someone's aura. Is this kind of similar to that in a way where you can sense someone's energy field?
Exactly. Kirlian photography is photographing the force field, the energy field of scalar energy. And that's why Kirlian photography is so fascinating. It shows our aura. It shows that we are energetic beings. So often we're working at the chemical level, to improve human health. I have something much better. Why not work at the level of intelligence to improve quantum health, not biological health, to send out the instructions for sound health? So if modern day medicine uses surgery and chemicals, I don't do that. I work with non-physical instructions to improve quantum health.
So, how do you get these instructions? Where do they come from?
Yeah, okay. So this is a scalar energy instrument. Let me just demonstrate quickly. It's operating, it's live, so to speak. These Tesla coils are broadcasting scalar energy. There's so much energy, it'll illuminate a light bulb in my hand. So I want to demonstrate to the audience that these instruments, they're alive. This energy is alive. Again, I can illuminate a light bulb. It's that strong. So if I can illuminate a light bulb, then I can illuminate a person. And that's what I'm doing.
Oh, that's so interesting.
So once again, if I'm looking at my photograph, I send energy into my force field. The identical energy that's going into the light bulb is now going into my chakras.
So there's a non-local component to this. You don't have to be right there next to the machine to experience this.
Yes, exactly. So very good. So my photograph is my bilocated version. There's actually two Toms. There's my biological Tom and there's my energetic Tom. And the two can separate. They do. When people email me their photograph, they're obviously not in my laboratory. They've sent their bilocated version, which is their energy field.
Okay, now see, this is so interesting because here in New Mexico, there are some Native American tribes that have the belief that if you take a photo of them, it captures part of their soul essence, and they don't want photos taken of them. So you have to be very respectful when you're in native spaces here. And it seems to me that they have this intrinsic knowledge that you're talking about.
And they're absolutely correct. My photograph captures my signature. My soul, mind, and body are on that photograph. And various cultures around the world are reticent about having their photograph taken because it's actually them. Their photograph is their soul, mind, and body energetically. That's true.
Wow. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the healing work that you've done? What kinds of situations have you been able to fix or heal using these methods?
We've started a new process. I call it divine intelligence, in which I'm taking this energy now, this double helix, and I'm applying it to people. It's very strong. And I believe we're seeing improvements, enhancement in DNA. So once again, if scalar energy is a double helix from the sun, and that double helix downloads into our DNA, which is scalar energy, we can correct DNA. We can correct DNA. Now, it's a new process. I call it divine intelligence. We're working with people with cancer and tumors. And thus far, it's very promising. I'll let you know in 6 to 12 months just how promising that is. But right now, many people are in remission. It's very promising.
Wow. So we have a question here from Lana. Can the person feel the healing and energy when the photograph is being treated in the device?
Some people can. If you're very sensitive, you can feel this energy. Many people feel what I call the chakra balancing. For 1 hour a day, I balance the chakras, usually in the morning here in Florida. And many people feel that surge of energy, that chakra balancing.
Wow, that's super interesting that you can actually feel it if you're sensitive to those kinds of manipulations. So people who are resistant to this, can they still be healed, or does the client, the patient, whatever you want to call the person who is undergoing healing, do they have to believe in this to have an effect?
No, you do not have to believe in this on account of the fact that the energy is primal. It's instantaneous. It's everywhere. So you cannot block the energy. Now, you can obviously work hand in hand to accelerate the healing, to facilitate the healing, but the energy cannot be blocked. Secondly, I work many times with pets, with animals, and the animals do not realize that they're being treated, and we see an improvement in animal health. So I realize that it's working. It works for people. It works for animals.
Okay, that's interesting. So, do you need to have a special device, a Tesla coil, or something similar to be able to do this yourself?
Yes, you do. You need a scalar energy instrument. This is years of research, and
Yes.
I've learned from the master Hieronymus and Tesla, and that's the key to my work. Having this laboratory equipment and not only understanding how scalar energy works, but then applying it. What I've learned to how to actually utilize this energy. It's a long journey. That's the key.
So how did you learn about this? Did you just study research journals? Did you talk to people? If someone were interested in studying this, how could they get involved?
The key right now is Tesla, his work. He's probably the most prolific scalar energy researcher out there to this day. I also studied under Hieronymus, but very little is known about him. I have some of the notes of Hieronymus, and I've shared those notes, but Hieronymus, another scalar energy researcher, he's lost to obscurity, sadly. It's
Yeah.
Tesla. It's Tesla. If you want to find information, read about Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla was amazing. And after he died, all of his research materials were taken away by the government and
Yes,
they are not available to us to this day.
that's correct. And you have to ask yourself why.
Right.
Why would that happen? What's the point? Why confiscate this treasure trove of information? And the answer is this is free energy. Make no mistake about it. This technology will change the world, and free energy will change the social order, including the economic order. And that's why you have this pushback.
Right. Because we have all kinds of corporations out there and the government itself, the different hierarchies that want to, you know, keep their control that they've had for decades, forever, and keep the money rolling in, all these kinds of things. So yeah, there is pushback when you look at things like zero point energy or different alternative healing modalities, or even things like my favorite topic, UFOs. So there is a lot of cover up and a lot of obfuscation with these things. So how could scalar energy help us with our energy needs? How does that work?
Let's go back to Tesla. Tesla had a tower at Wardenclyffe, he called it. It was in Long Island. And that tower was able to, if you will, illuminate objects at a distance. So Tesla demonstrated free energy. And with that, again, it's not only free energy, but it's a free infrastructure. So a Tesla tower or a Tesla instrument can illuminate objects, or if you will, run a motor. Now, the key is the energy is free from the sun and the stars, and the infrastructure is free. The infrastructure is the ether. So all of this is free and safe and clean. What's the point? This technology will make obsolete the military industrial complex.
Yeah. So you bring up an interesting word there, ether. Ether is, for those out there who are not familiar with that term, it is considered this substrate that is between all matter and in which different kinds of waves can propagate. And it fell out of favor into the whole idea of the vacuum of space, there being nothing in space, and but there's been kind of a resurgence in the whole idea that there is an ether, there is a way for us to send information through space. So why don't you tell us more about that, Tom, because you're way more of an expert than I am at this.
You're right. In order for something to propagate, you need a highway or you need a medium. What's the point? Ether is the medium. That's the key here. Ether is this substrate, or what some people might call the force field or the matrix, that permeates the universe, that allows for light to propagate, that provides the medium to propagate. Tesla realized that there was ether, and that's the key to his research. He never discounted the forces of nature. So Tesla, working with this model, he essentially built a miniature universe. Wardenclyffe was a miniature universe. The tower, Wardenclyffe in Long Island, that was a miniature star. And then he simply broadcast the energy throughout the atmosphere. The atmosphere contained the ether, and he, if you will, reenacted a star. That's what I want to do in a grand style. I want to recreate a star. I'm halfway there right now. This is a miniature star.
Okay, that's super interesting. And we've got a question here from Liv, who's wondering, is scalar energy what is used in the EE systems, energy enhancement systems, healing centers? Now, I'm not familiar with this, but I bet Tom is.
Actually, I'm not. And the reason being, I don't study other systems. I'm so busy with my work. So I would simply tell people, do your homework. Whatever technology you come across, do your homework. I can't answer that question though.
So how can scalar energy meet my own needs? Say here in my own home, I have a gas furnace, I have an electric range. How can I use this amazing power to power all my needs?
We're getting there. I don't have that yet. We're getting there. I want to be able to take this energy and illuminate a building at a distance. And if I can prove that, then I've proven that scalar energy can be used to illuminate objects. If we can illuminate objects with free energy, without the need of an infrastructure, without the need of satellites or cell phone towers, etc., then that's the sky's the limit. We are on our way to, if you will, reversing the energy crisis.
Yeah. So Christopher's pointing out that Einstein stated that ether cannot be detected.
I believe it can be detected. I don't believe it can be measured. And I'll tell you why. I think it's infinite. I think it's an infinite, if you will, medium. So you can see the endpoints, the before and after effect of ether. But, keep in mind, something that's infinite does not have a basic unit. You cannot measure something that's infinite.
That's true. That is true. So when you're talking about scalar energy and you're doing all this research, you're trying to build your own star, you're healing people through their photographs, how is mainstream science taking your work?
With absolute silence.
Yeah.
Okay. I have only the people. It's a grassroots movement. Thank God for the people.
Yes.
Science, the government, big business has not contributed at all to helping me. Not one finger has been lifted to help me.
Wow.
And it's a shame because I'm trying to present this for the betterment of mankind. So that should give pause to your audience and ask themselves, why doesn't the government help Tom or big business or academia when all Tom wants to do is help people? I'm not in this for the money. I want this technology to change the world for the better. I think we know the answer to that.
Yeah, I think we do too. So what kinds of things are you working on outside of healing people or outside of creating your own sun? What other kinds of exciting applications are there for scalar energy?
Well, there's thousands, millions. If you look at the universe, everything owes its action to scalar energy. What's the point? You always start with a cause. The cause is light, and light, scalar light, is responsible for all action in the universe. So, as I mentioned, we're using this energy for quantum health, improving our energetic health. I envision in the future we'll use it for telecommunications. We'll use this for anti-gravity. We'll be able to use scalar energy to locate people and objects, missing people, missing objects. It's essentially an endless stream of inventions.
Okay, so that's interesting, and I'm wondering what you're thinking about. We're in kind of a solar maximum, solar flare mode right now. It's the 11-year cycle that the sun goes through, and we had the big solar storms that occurred about a little over a week ago, where we even had the aurora here in Albuquerque, which was amazing. I got a really cool photo of the purple and pink sky. It wasn't as glorious as folks up in Michigan saw, but I bet they saw it down by you too in Florida. So how is that affecting the whole scalar energy process, these solar flares?
Yeah, it doesn't impede this instrument or its operation, but I'm sure it has some type of effect, because what am I getting at? A solar flare is initially a scalar flare. All energies from the sun and the stars is scalar energy. And when it finds itself removed from the center of a star, then it degrades into electricity and magnetism. So you could say that a solar flare is really a projection of a plasma, a projection of scalar energy that eventually degrades into electromagnetic energy.
Okay, very interesting. Now Lana has a question for you here. Can you explain more about the natural foods program from your website?
Yeah, that's a good point. So what am I getting at with natural foods? I'm going to hold up a photograph of watermelon. Now, remember, I've worked with information. This is a magnified photograph of watermelon. If I want the information of watermelon, I simply take that photograph of watermelon and place it next to my photograph. So we always work at the informational level. This is not a chemical. The information of watermelon enters into my force field. This, by the way, this is how I receive my nutrients. I don't take vitamins or I don't take protein shakes. I receive information from food, natural foods, downloading into my quantum field energetically. This is how I receive my information. My diet is supplemented by informational food, not chemical food, informational food.
Okay, so what happens if you have a photo of a Twinkie next to your photo?
You're right. You'll be imparted whatever is on that photograph. A Twinkie would be chemicals. This is why I call it natural foods. I'm a purist. I don't eat Twinkies. I'm sure
I don't either.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't either. But I want to go back to nature. And what created the watermelon? Scalar energy. So why not deliver the energy of watermelon by scalar energy? Why work at the chemical level? I have nothing against eating watermelon. It's delicious. But for my work, I deliver the watermelon energetically by way of intelligence.
Okay, that is super fascinating. So if you felt like someone had a vitamin deficiency, say somebody was low on B vitamins, vitamin C, would you recommend that they get a photograph of, say, some oranges or some kale for your vitamin B or whatnot? And can you do this at home, in other words? Do you need to have the scalar energy devices, or can you simply use photos at home?
Well, that's a good point.
Because I'm doing this tonight.
Okay. My instrument abets the process, but let's just say you wanted vitamin B2. Maybe you could take this and meditate and ask God to download that information into you. I don't see why not.
Right.
To be quite clear, a prayer, an intention is scalar energy. When you pray, when you think, that's a scalar wave. It's intelligence. So whether it's the intelligence of the sun or the intelligence of the mind, it's a scalar wave. It's a scalar emanation. Now, going back to my earlier statement, why not? I know many people can stare at the sun or the stars and they say they can receive nutrients from the sun and the stars. Now, if that's true and accurate, and I have no reason to doubt it, then they're receiving this information, this intelligence from the cosmos that will allow them to assemble or allow them to energetically incorporate vitamins and antioxidants and natural foods, etc. So what I do by way of an instrument, some people I believe can do psychically.
Oh, interesting. Do you think that there is a psychic component to scalar energy? Is it involve consciousness in some way?
It is consciousness. So you hit the nail on the head. This is a consciousness instrument. Again, I don't work at the physical level. I work at the level of intelligence, consciousness. So whatever I tell this instrument to broadcast, it will broadcast the consciousness of watermelon that enters into my energy field. So it's a prayer. What's a prayer? It's energy to energy. A prayer is my energy going to you as a prayer. Energy to energy. Prayer does not become physical. Prayer does not become a chemical. So if a prayer is a scalar wave, if I pray for you, Birdie, I'm imparting non-physical intelligence. If I send watermelon, I'm sending non-physical intelligence. Whether it's a prayer or whether it's scalar energy sending watermelon, it's always non-physical. It's not at the chemical level.
Okay. So Lana's asking, how many photographs can be worked on at the same time? Do you need to like focus on one person at a time, or can you do a group?
That's an excellent question. Today, Lana, I was working on 500,000 photographs simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
This instrument could easily work with 20 million photographs simultaneously because the photographs are miniaturized, and many times you can stack the photographs one on top of another. I could have a stack of 10 million photographs and then photograph the stack and put the photograph of the stack in the instrument.
Okay, Lana says that is fascinating, and I have to agree with that. So theoretically, you could work on the whole world at once. Do you actually need a photo of somebody, or can you just have an intention, say?
You actually do need a photograph of some part of their face or their skin, because
Okay.
that's their signature, whether it's their face or
Yeah.
some part of their body. But if I had a stack of 8 billion photographs of people, and then I took a photograph of those stacks of 8 billion people, and I placed that photograph of 8 billion people inside the instrument, I could treat simultaneously 8 billion force fields, 8 billion people. That's right. Very good.
Wow.
Very good. Your audience gets this. So you see, there's no impediment here.
We're an interesting bunch, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there's no impediment to scalar energy. You can't think of any physical constraint. There's no roadblock. There's no impediment. We transcend time and space.
So transcending time is an interesting thought here. So is it possible to take a photograph of someone from, say, 100 years ago and work on somebody who has already moved on to their next phase of existence? Is that possible?
Some people have sent me photographs of deceased members, and I believe I still can access that person because they still have a force field. Whether they're living or dead, you have a force field. So scalar energy transcends time, and that only stands to reason. Whether you're living or you're deceased, you still have a force field that can be accessed.
Interesting. And Ellen says, yes, we get this. Thank you.
Yes, they do. Very good group of people.
Yeah. So another question from Lana here. Do you need the person's permission to treat them? This is a great question.
Yes, I do. And that's why we have a website in which we tell people, visit the website and you upload your photographs. And we want you to take that action. I don't take that action on behalf of people.
So tell us how that works. So if someone watching this is interested in having some kind of healing done or energy work done using your scalar energy, how could they participate in this?
Well, this is so avant-garde. So I give away 15 days of free sessions. If you go to our website, scalarlight.com, anybody in the world can upload your photograph. And we'll treat you for free for 15 days. We'll balance your chakras. We'll download nutrients, and you have the ability to detect, to identify microbes, germs, and to negate microbes through the quantum field.
So say somebody has had some kind of catastrophic health issue, say that they've had a stroke and they're partially paralyzed. I'm asking actually for a family member here. And they're partially paralyzed and they're having a tough time. Can scalar energy help them regain some movement or at least regain acceptance about their condition?
I think in the future we'll have much stronger scalar energy instruments and we can reverse paralysis in some cases. Now, I am working on that right now. I have a new program called Divine Intelligence, in which if the energy is strong enough, we should be able to reprogram the spinal cord or whatever impediment it is and bring a person out of paralysis. I've not done that. Do I think it's possible? Yes. So I'm willing to try.
Okay, that sounds positive to me. And does this work not only on your physical health, but does it work on your emotional and mental health?
Yeah, it does. I'm going to show the audience
Yeah.
chakras. These are our 7 chakras. Many people think we have 7 main chakras. I believe we do. And these chakras are aligned and they spin. It's a vortex, the scalar energy vortex. So that chakra system makes us happier. If they're spinning correctly and if they're in alignment, we're happier. Many times we have a sense of elation. So how do I respin? How do I reprogram a chakra? Well, it's very simple with scalar energy. So this scalar energy instrument will download the double helix into the chakras. The chakras are a double helix configuration that spins. And in so doing, for 1 hour a day, I balance chakras with this divine energy. And as a result, people are happier. People say they have the ability to lift their depression. They're no longer depressed. They're no longer anxious. They have a sense of calm and tranquility. Well, that's because we've accessed their mind, their psyche through scalar light.
And so can people upload photos of their pets, say?
Yes, I would suggest you do that. And a pet is a great way to compare and contrast. If your pet responds favorably, there's no placebo effect. The pet doesn't realize it's being treated by a scalar light instrument. I've had great success with animals. So submit your pet for the sessions.
I'm submitting my pets, ladies and gents, my parrot, my African gray parrot, and my hound from hell. He's a good dog, but oh boy.
Yeah, maybe we could help his disposition. Some people have told me that after we work with their pets, the pet is calmer. Well, that stands to reason.
Yeah, this is actually really interesting to me as somebody who is a proponent of consciousness and has had her own incredible experiences beyond her own body. I think that there is a lot of truth to this, a lot of truth to receiving information through light and through all of these invisible properties. So we got a question here from Christopher. Does scalar energy offer a way to understand ESP and related psychic phenomena, including remote viewing?
Thank you. Excellent question.
Good job, Christopher.
Yes, scalar energy is the cause of clairvoyance. Scalar energy is the cause of deja vu. Scalar energy is the cause of remote viewing. It's an information system. It's intelligence. All psychic phenomena can be explained by scalar energy. And this is one of the reasons why Western science is so behind the times with ESP or any type of clairvoyance, etc. You cannot explain that by way of electricity and magnetism. That's not the force field. The energy field that explains paranormal is scalar energy because it's an information system. It's a superior information system. And in order to understand the information behind ESP or deja vu, you have to have an information system that's responsible for that, which is scalar energy. It stands to reason.
So this energy comes from our sun, our local star, and from other stars, right?
Right.
So what happens if you slather yourself in sunscreen? Are you limiting your potential to receive?
No.
I know it sounds like a silly question, but I'm curious.
No, that's a good point. See, that's electromagnetic energy, which you want to protect yourselves against UV radiation.
Right.
And that's understandable. This is a wooden chopping board. And that wooden board does not present an impediment to illuminate this light bulb. So a wooden board is no impediment to scalar energy. Scalar energy will pass through anything. So that leads us to conclude that the energy of the stars cannot be prevented. Its transmission cannot be prevented. It's everywhere. It's universal energy. And that's what I like about scalar energy. You'll never run out of it. It's everywhere. All you have to do is tap into it. It's the free energy. You don't need to dig for oil or coal. Just use the atmospheric energy, scalar energy.
So if we walk, well, it comes through our house then, if nothing can stop it. Hey, how about if you're in a Faraday cage? Does that stop it?
No, because that's a good point. A Faraday cage will stop electromagnetic energy.
Right.
Scalar energy, now keep in mind, it's omnipresent. That's right. It's omnipresent.
Everywhere.
Yes, it's not a vector. You don't deliver it from A to B. It's everywhere. It's omnipresent. You cannot stop it. It's everywhere. It's Christ consciousness.
So it is that just general extension of all universal consciousness that flows through us, flows through everything around us. Because we are everything everywhere at once, right? We are,
Yes.
I know that I can experience and understand things from the other side of the universe, and people on the other side of the universe can understand and communicate with me. So it's all done through scalar energy, you're saying. That is the vehicle by which all this happens.
Yes, and it stands to reason. In order to have a universe in harmony, you have to have a universe that instantaneously communicates with one another. All the stars must communicate instantaneously. Every cell in our body must communicate instantaneously. All action must be instantaneous because all action depends upon instantaneous information. So if you have an instantaneous universe, we do, then you need an instantaneous communication system, which we have. Electricity is not instantaneous. The top speed is 186,000 miles per second. So a local energies, electricity, cannot explain a non-local universe. It's kind of obvious.
Right. This is so interesting. So what other kinds of things are you interested in doing, Tom? Outside of scalar energy, do you have any other exciting things you're working on?
Yeah, God is going to give me the wisdom someday to take scalar energy, to broadcast it at a distance, and to illuminate a building. And when I demonstrate that publicly, it will be the beginning of the end of the energy crisis.
Wow. Well, Tesla was already doing these kinds of things until he moved on to his next set of adventures out there. But yeah, I've been waiting for someone to bring this Tesla technology forward again. It's time. It's time for this.
It's so much easier, people. Just consider the infrastructure to bring heating or electricity to your home. Imagine doing away with an entire infrastructure and just having the ability to heat your home or cool your home or illuminate your home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. So what are your very next steps with this? What are you going to be doing, say, in the next 6 months?
People, I need a grassroots movement. Now, remember, I stated that the government, big business, academia has shunned my work, so we don't need them. That's fine. I need to get this information out there. So those of you with an earshot of this conversation, tell people about what we're doing. Tell people to go to our website. By all means, everybody in the world can register for 15 days of free sessions. All you have to do is email your photograph. And I want a groundswell of support. I need I need grassroots effort. That's what I do.
So tell everybody how they can get in touch with you. Where can they find you out there, Tom?
Yeah. The website is scalarlight.com, SCALAR, scalarlight.com. Now, you simply go to the website, read a few of the articles. If you're inclined, send your photograph. With your family's permission, send them too. You can send us 10 family members if you want, and include your pets, and let's see how everybody feels. Let's see what we can do with this. You be the judge. I'm pretty sure most people feel better from these sessions. I'm rather certain that you will feel something. You'll improve somehow. You'll feel some improvement in your health.
So Lana's asking another great question. Have you ever been discouraged by people in the military industrial complex?
Every once in a while, there's a negative comment, but I don't listen to them.
Okay, so you haven't had white vans with the windows
No,
blacked
no,
out following you
no,
around.
no. Nobody follows me around. I, I don't think the government quite understands what I'm doing, frankly.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, let's not give them that much credit. I don't think they have the slightest idea of what I'm doing.
Oh man. So Tom, when someone sends you a photo, should they also add like what their intention is, that they have, say, heart issues or chronic indigestion or back pain or migraines? Do they mention this, or do they just send the photo and the scalar energy sorts it out for them?
Just send the photograph. Why? The intelligence is from God. When this instrument is operating and when that double helix downloads into your being, it corrects what it needs to correct, soul, mind, and body. For instance, I've enhanced this session in the past month, well, since March. And I had back pain at one time from sports injuries. My back pain is gone. How did that happen? The energy corrected my back pain.
Wow.
I did nothing. By the way, I haven't been to a chiropractor in 3 months, 4 months. The energy corrected my back pain. How's that possible? Through intelligence, through divine intelligence. So this is not at the chemical level. We're not diagnosing anything. God does not need to diagnose. This all-seeing eye, that eye of providence, will correct soul, mind, and body.
So Christopher has another great question here. When someone appears on a live TV show, is there an energetic connection with the viewers? That's a great
Yes,
question.
yes, there is. And this is one of the reasons why you can go to a concert. And some
Ah,
people say they feel surge. Why? Because everybody's a scalar energy being. What am I getting at? A thought is scalar energy. It transcends time and space. A feeling is scalar energy. So
yeah.
this gives rise to why some people are romantic. They're in communion with one another from a scalar energy viewpoint. They share scalar energy information, a scalar wave, and for that reason, so that's responsible for many romantic connections, or that's responsible for the feeling good that you have at a party, or the feel goods, if you will, at a concert, or some people go for a hike and they feel this surge of scalar energy, and that gives them this feeling of elation. That feeling good attitude, that feel good disposition, can be attributed to this energy.
Wow, that makes complete sense to me. Sometimes I watch different podcasts or listen to different people, and I will resonate with them. It feels wonderful to listen to their information. And then there are some people that just give me the creeps. So they're not clued into the scalar energy, I think.
Well, that's a good point. Now, some people you have a bad feeling for them.
Right.
That's that's their scalar wave. That's their presence, and some people trust your hunch if that's the case.
Yeah.
There are some people of malevolent intent, and if you have that feeling, it's probably coming from the Holy Spirit.
Right. So Gabriel has a great question here. So how long do you recommend that someone does this for? Because you say the first 15 days are free. So how long does a treatment program, will say, last
Yeah.
if someone is having some issues or wants that alignment?
Okay, so why do we give away 15 days of free sessions? Just so people feel comfortable. Now, after the 15-day session, most people feel better. They say, I'll try it for 2 or 3 months. And that's what they do. They sign up month after month. It's only 30 days at a time. And they decide. I cannot make that decision because for factors of age, existing medical health, and predisposition and genetic disposition, et cetera, there's all factors that I can't account for. So I leave it up to the people. But most people say within 3 or 4 months, they feel really better. Their health has improved significantly.
But you do feel that people do have some kind of a positive reaction after 15 days.
Yes, yes. The 15 days is enough of a testimony to say, well, something changed. They feel a shift. Many
Right.
people say it's significant. There's a lot of energy. These instruments are operating 24 hours a day. And in some capacity, once again, imagine that energy going into you 24 hours a
Right.
day. That's a lot of energy.
That's a lot of energy.
You'll feel it. You'll feel the surge. It's real. It's palpable.
So even though you are way over there in Florida and I'm way over here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, there is a connection,
Yeah.
and everything that you do affects everyone everywhere.
Yes. My predecessor, Galen Hieronymus, worked with the Apollo 11 astronauts. He worked with NASA. He secured their photographs from NASA. And in so doing, he was able to monitor the astronauts while they were on the moon. He was able to monitor their biorhythms because their biorhythms, if you will, are found on the photograph. So distance is not an impediment. If the moon is 250,000 miles away, and my predecessor, Galen Hieronymus, was able to follow, monitor, and, if you will, measure the biofunctions of the astronauts, that tells you that scalar energy is indeed responsible for everything, including our organ function, and that distance is not a barrier.
Okay. Okay, that is super fascinating. Tom, this has been such an enlightening and interesting conversation. And I am definitely going to try your 15 days of scalar energy,
Thank you.
your whole extravaganza, and I'm going to try it for my dog because he's still a
Yes.
pup, but he is a little reactive. Just he's got like the stranger danger thing going on. He's a great, great, great dog, very protective and loving, but he really freaks out when he sees, especially men in uniform. So
Oh,
he's not a big fan of the mail carrier or the Amazon guy.
oh, no kidding. He can pick that out. No kidding. Wow.
So I really appreciate you, Tom. So why don't you tell everyone again how they can get in touch with you? Because I know just from the comments here, people are going to try this. They are excited about it.
Okay. The website is scalarlight.com. SCALAR, scalarlight.com. Again, anybody in the world can submit just your photograph, just the bus shot, just your face, and we'll work with you for 15 days. We'll identify microbes. The instruments have the ability to look at photographs of microbes, identify those microbes. That's the herpes virus. We can identify microbes in your quantum field and negate the force field of microbes. So for
Wow.
1 hour a day, we do that, 1 hour a day. And then 1 hour a day, we balance your chakras, as I mentioned. And then the remaining 22 hours a day, we take photographs of nutrients, any type of micronutrient, that's riboflavin. And for 22 hours a day, we download micronutrients into you. Again, it's not a chemical. We download the energy of vitamins into you. This is how I receive my vitamins, energetically, not chemically. There's a much more subtle way of receiving nutrition, energetically, not through chemicals.
Wow. This is blowing my mind, and I am so excited to get started with this. And it's going to be cheaper than taking all those supplements I've been taking. So
Many people have said that. I'll speak for myself.
yeah,
I eat very well, but
I do too.
I don't need to supplement. 22 hours a day, I receive the energy of supplements.
Wow. That is so cool, Tom. I really appreciate you coming on and telling us about all this. It's a real
Thank you.
gift to have you here, and I appreciate your presence, and thank you for your work in this whole area. And I am looking forward to seeing the sun that you create and for us having our Star Trek technology future. I know it's just around the corner. I believe that.
It is around the corner.
I believe that.
You can't stop this. You can't stop the truth.
You cannot stop the truth. So thank you again for being here. And thank you, everybody. Thanks for everyone that tuned in today and everyone that's going to watch this in the days ahead. I love you all very much. Thank you. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Bravo.
Okay, guys. Bravo.